6 days before the inauguration, and the tension is high in D.C. The FBI urging state and local police to share any and all intel about right-wing extremists targeting federal and state government buildings and lawmakers. The New York Times reports a national intelligence bulletin warns that extremists want to trigger a race war and may exploit the aftermath of the Capitol breach by conducting attacks to destabilize and force a climactic conflict in the United States.
We're going to ensure that we have a safe inauguration.
Like today, the FBI director briefed Vice President Pence.
We're concerned about the potential for violence at multiple protests and rallies planned here in D.C. and at state capitol buildings around the country. So anybody who plots or attempts violence in the coming week should count on a visit.
Across the country, state capitals are under tight security. Ohio's governor closing state office buildings in Columbus starting Sunday.
Just as we respect and will protect peaceful protesters, we will also just as vigorously resist violence. That violence will not be tolerated.
And D.C. tonight looks like an armed camp. Roads closed, police on every street. 21,000 National Guard troops expected within days to protect the city. Highly unlikely we'll have a repeat of last week. The barriers are up. National Guard troops are standing about 6 feet apart from each other, all of them carrying their M4s. This unit is from Virginia, but all the way down the street and all the way around the Capitol, hundreds, thousands of National Guard troops. Meanwhile, at least a dozen police departments are investigating their own officers for allegedly participating in last week's events. And members of Congress want an investigation into whether large numbers of people were walking around inside the Capitol with Republican lawmakers on Tuesday, potentially doing recon.
To imagine that colleagues of mine could have aided and abetted this is incredibly offensive, and there's simply no way that they can be allowed to continue to serve in Congress.
Today, police arrested Kevin Seafried, photographed carrying a Confederate flag, and Robert Sanford, a retired firefighter, suspected of throwing a fire extinguisher at police officers, though not the attack that killed Officer Brian Sicknick.
I believe that the greatest threat against the United States at the moment is us, domestic terrorism. The greatest threat to the American democracy at this time is not international. It is within our own borders, our own people.
Tom, there's a report that people on the terror watch list were at the pro-Trump rally in D.C. on the day of the riot. What's the latest on that?
You know, the Washington Post reporting dozens of white supremacists on that list were here, and the fact that they did come here could suggest another lapse with intelligence.
Tom Costello, thanks. Just after